Smell the gumbo? You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio.
Happy New Year to everybody listening to us today on Tuesday, 1113, Dad, and special edition of Cajun Sports Radio.
Yep. Happy New Year to everybody. That year sure flew, huh?
Hey. It did.
It sure flew. How about the topic? Like football. Every time you turn around, there's a football game. Well, we ain't going to know how to act when the football season's over with.
I know it. And we're going to close things out, with these bowl games. And we got the playoffs starting Saturday, which I cannot wait. Our local team season ended Sunday and Monday. We'll get to that in a second. Rose Bowl going on currently right now, just kicked off between Stanford, Wisconsin. Then after that, you get the Orange Bowl between Florida State and Northern Illinois, which ought to be fun to see how they perform.
That's going to be a good game.
Well, we'll see. It's either going to be a blowout or Northern Illinois is going to show up. You know what I mean? We'll see. That's going to be something fun to see. We just watched a good one between Michigan and South Carolina.
That was a good game.
Come down to the end. We watched that one. We watched Georgia kind of had a little scare from Nebraska. 2 interceptions early by Murray, but then they got it together, and Georgia routs Nebraska. Nebraska ends their season on a bad note. But the big topic was the game for us. Was the game that took place last night, New Year's Eve, and y'all know where we're going with this, between LSU and Clemson. LSU, early, they dominated, but then Clemson would come on to them. Every time LSU would get an edge, Clemson would come right back fighting with them. And they clearly had the game late in that game, and they just could not convert on third down. And basically gave Clemson the game, Dad, as it was a mixture of, basically. And it was a mixture of, kind of playing prevent style on defense, but not really. But in my opinion, I go to the offense. Because, the defense couldn't get off the field. You know what I mean? The offense could have put this thing to bed way earlier. There's no reason for that. But what are your comments on this? I know you couldn't wait to talk about this one.
Yeah, it was horrible. Cut and dry again. We got to watch. I tip my hat off. Clemson, they played a good game. They never stopped fighting. That quarterback never stopped. Our defense, like you said, stayed on the field. They tried to, get it done. And again, it's our offense. I just would like to know why. At the end, all we needed was that first down. Why? 3 times we threw it. With the running back, the way Hill was running, why didn't we just try to pound it in there? We throw the ball instead. I don't understand.
And not only that, when you throw it, it hurts with the clock, too. It stops the clock.
You still can't manage a game clock.
Nope. And I got to give credit
That's horrible, y'all. Come on. Let's tell it like it is. That's horrible.
It was terrible.
We lost in the Chicken Bowl.
And what's interesting is the best player on offense, Sammy Watkins, gets hurt like the first play of the game.
Yep.
And that was it really was for us, LSU fans. But like Dad said, Jeremy Hill was really running the rock well. He was taking over this game. He only got the ball 12 times last night. I don't get that. He had a 10.5 average with 2 touchdowns. He had those 2 long ones, his long ones being 57. But my biggest beef with this game, Dad, is this. And here is the stat pack. Now, you're going to be mind-boggled by these stats that I'm about to get you. This is the stat pack presented by CajunSportsRadio.com and BestBikeATV.com. All right, Dad, you're going to listen to these stats and how badly LSU got dominated and everything. First downs, Clemson, 32, LSU, 9.
Come on, man.
That's crazy. Okay, penalty yards. Clemson, 47, LSU, 66. Now here's the big one. Here's the 2 big ones. Third down efficiency. Clemson, 8 out of 18, not bad. LSU, 3 out of 13 on third downs. Time of possession, and this goes back to Dad with the passing game. Clemson, 36 minutes and 21 seconds. LSU, 23 minutes and 39 seconds. We just got... I'm surprised the score was that close. I'm surprised they weren't beating us worse than... If it wouldn't have been for those 2 runs by Jeremy Hill us winning the turnover battle 2-1...
That's right.
Clemson would have won this game by 10 points.
Yeah, really definitely. Definitely. They would have... no doubt it would have been... I'm surprised the way the score looked. But again, I'm going to go back to saying this. That was a minute and 40. Man, that was a minute. Remember, me and you was watching a game of 47 seconds on the clock. Instead of playing the way LSU usually do, pounding it in on the ground for a first down, they son of a gun. They threw 2 consecutive incompletions. Now, come on, man. Who's calling this, Lane? Yeah, I know we argue about this every week. There's something wrong somewhere.
It's Miles and the offensive coordinator, which I don't even know how to pronounce his name, the old lineman coach.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
It's a combination of that.
I don't know. All I know is, I know everybody's, this, that. You have some people around here already mad about the Saints. The only hope, for LSU was already mad to go to Chicken Bowl. They can all say what they want. Miles is going to catch some heat on this one. Oh, yes. Miles will catch heat on this game. I'm telling y'all right now.
And that's what was interesting. This wasn't a big game for LSU at all because we've been here a bunch of times. Clemson was going ballistic when they won this game. This was a big deal for them to beat that SEC school, to win 11 games.
You heard what the coach said at the end of the game. He said, we just beat a national championship contender. Do you know what he meant by that? Mm-hmm. At one time this year, before we lost against Alabama, we were a national championship contender.
He got so excited that he grabbed. The woman doing the interviewing on the sideline said, I've never been grabbed and picked up like that. He got excited, picked her up and grabbed her and put her in the air. But, hey.
Hats off to him. That's all I can say.
I got a question for you. Hold on. Question right here. Straight up, was LSU outcoached in this game?
Definitely they were outcoached. Again.
I agree. Yeah.
Again, then after the game, Miles said he's proud of them. Man, I would have been. Somebody needs to be. Miles is too much of the good guy. Man, you can't have all these friends. They're gonna walk. They walk over him. They walk over him. You know what's gonna happen? Again, it's gonna be. They don't want to come play for us. Y'all, we lost in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. This is bad. Look at the talent on the field. Okay? The talent that's on the field. And no, I'm not going to drill Mettenberg. He did have a few good throws. But he's still in the off season. He needs to go to a camp or something and practice. I don't know.
Well, his play was up and down in that game, and I think you'll you'll agree. I mean, he made good throws, but then at times, I mean, here's his numbers right here. I'm looking right now for the Les Miles post-game press conference, but
yeah,
I'm looking at his numbers
too
right
bad.
here.
I didn't even look at it.
14 out of 23, a touchdown and a pick for 120 yards. That, in my opinion, the completion percentage has got to be a little bit better than that. 14 out of 23. But I still think they were forcing him to do things that he shouldn't have been doing. He got sacked 6 times.
How many times he got sacked? Like 6?
6 times. In fact, it might
well,
be
yeah,
more
but
than that.
come on. The line could hold him for so long.
Oh, I don't know, though. No. A lot of times that they would just get
a few times, yeah, when they come around. Yeah.
But yeah,
LSU looked like they didn't even want to play that game, okay?
Yeah,
I don't believe they were fired up. Sorry.
And I will say, you are right, though. A lot of times, it did look like he could have got rid of the ball, a little bit early. And I think I have it right here, Dad. Give me a second. I think I have the Les Miles post-game press conference from last night's loss.
Okay.
Here it is.
While you looking at that, I'm going to say something real quick.
Okay, no, I have it. Whoa,
okay, go ahead then. Go ahead.
Really got the ball, played extremely well, got the ball out of his hand fast, made some great throws.
Here it is.
Talk about our opponent. I thought that Blackman, as a quarterback, played extremely well, got the ball out of his hand fast, made some great throws under pressure. Thought the receiving core was very competitive. I thought early on that the defense played very rough and tumble. I think they got a really good punter and a nice return man. I think they got the makings of a good team, and I wish them well from this point forward. I thought we got their best shot, and certainly they showed well of themselves. I think our football team, imperfect today. I think there's I think everybody can see that we.
Excuse me.
A dominant football team.
Wrong press conference. Wrong press conference. I don't know what
All
this.
3 phases.
What this was from. We apologize from Cajun Sports Radio.
I think that's the.
That was the wrong press.
talking?
Yeah, but that was another post game press conference. That's not this one. I don't know.
Okay.
He was talking about because when he said
to-
Blackman as the quarterback or Blackridge, I knew right then and there that I can't
Yeah,
find
I
it.
want to.
I don't know where it's at. The video of it or the audio, but that's fine. Bottom line, what he said, as I could. You had something to say. I'm gonna continue to look for you. You do what you want to say.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to hats off. Jeremy. He had a real good game. He ended the night with 124 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. I didn't know this. He broke Dalton Hilliard's LSU true freshman record by scoring his 12th touchdown of the season on a 57-yard run to start the third quarter. I'll be dogged. He'll only carry the ball, like you just said, 12 times and average 10.3 yards per carry. I know he knocked Ford. Ford didn't play too much, but Wilder, when you have someone like Hill, So he played well. I bet he felt, when you go out there and play that hard, he just, I just feel bad for him. Him and a lot of others that really tried. Even Michael Ford, didn't he return a punt number? Yeah, he sure did. Michael Ford.
It was a good return. He didn't return it for a touchdown. It was just
yeah, but he did have a good punt return.
Yeah, he did.
But it was just a disaster. Yeah, to me, I figured this game that we wouldn't have a problem. But then I started thinking the way they played all year. After the Alabama loss, I don't know what happened to LSU. They changed since then. Am I right, Lane?
Yeah. Well, to an extent, yeah, this was a different ball club in some areas. But I think you made a point earlier when you said that LSU was probably not looking forward to this game as much as Clemson was. And Les Miles, in my opinion, and this to me was something that I was very disappointed in, seemed cocky in this game. It seemed like he had this one in the bag. Like, hey, we're not going to have any problems with this game. Because even at halftime, when he got interviewed at halftime, he acted as if, no big deal. And he had a real concern at halftime. We were having some serious problems at half. And bottom line, you could factor in injuries. You know what I mean? Clemson had injuries in this one as well. You could factor in this and that, but I'm going to say it right here, right now. Yes, the defense did get torched at times, but I mean, he allowed 25 yards to a good 25 points to a good offensive team. This game was put in the offense's hands to close it out, and they go 0 for 8 on third down.
Yeah, you can't have that. But let me tell you something. That quarterback, for Clemson,
Taj Boy.
Woo! He got a good future. That's all I can tell y'all.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good, y'all. He moved in the pocket well. Oh, he made us look sick. He made Mettenberg. I tell you what. I know I sound like a broken record. They better do something here for this off season. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I know what the Saints is going to do, but LSU got more problems than that. I don't know I don't know if it's the coaching. I know, they might give Miles a raise for this. I don't know. I don't know no more.
It's unpredictable.
Right. No, this is getting sad for a program like this to fall to pieces.
Which
it's bad.
It almost seemed as if, like I said, that Miles was just calm and confident, and it was almost like he didn't even care about this game. If you remember,
he's been like that all year.
Well, it's been worse. I think it was worse in this game, but yeah. But my thing about this was we had controversy earlier in the week that Chick-fil-A was mad at him because he did a commercial. He's been an endorser of Raising Cane's. We know that. You hear him on the radio all the time. But the Chicken Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, did not want him directly. They wanted him to cool it down with the commercials with Raising Cane's until the Chicken Bowl came out, because LSU gets paid money for that, to endorse, Chick-fil-A. And it's almost as if like he was pissed off maybe at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Maybe he was acting as if he was too good for that bowl. All I know is that was embarrassing. We clearly were a better team than that football team last night. Yeah. Clearly we were a better team.
Yeah, I'm sorry for cutting in front because I got so much to talk about. Every day I read articles, like their conference and all, like their pregame and all. I don't know if you know, during the week, one night he goes to TJ Ribs, and he makes a big press conference.
Well, no, he does the radio show.
Huh?
He does the radio show from there.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant, the radio show.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hear it, but I read the article on Danny Jones, what he says. Mm-hmm. And you're right, the whole time. The whole week. Even last week before. It's like he wasn't worried about this game. It's like this was just to go over there to Atlanta, win the ball game, and worry about next year. Man, this hurts you to lose this game right here.
Let me tell you something. And I was talking about this with the host of 103.7 The Game in Lafayette, Jordy Holberg. I called into his show this week, and we were talking about, you can create momentum week to week. I mean, I'm sorry, year to year in college by winning your bowl game at the end of the year. It creates momentum for that next year. If you look at years that LSU's had national championships or have had good years, it's because they ended the year right, the previous year. This was a momentum killer for LSU for next year.
Oh yeah.
It really was. This game right here could kill LSU's season next year. I know what y'all saying. You know what? It's a year-to-year league, but not really. You have that month.
It's more good.
Well, you have that month game. I mean, that month break before the bowl game.
Right.
So it's almost as if when you play that bowl game, it's almost like it's a part of next year too. You know what I mean? It's so far you're almost into the off season by the time you play that game. And my opinion, that was a game we should have won. We had it wrapped up. We blew it. And like you said earlier, poor clock management by Les Miles. Bottom line.
That ain't nothing new.
No,
that ain't nothing new. But let me read this real quick. Me and you just talked about the coaching. A while back, they had stated that they didn't agree with the idea of having one man in the role of an offensive coordinator, okay, and an offensive line coach. And last night's game makes me more convinced of that even more and more convincing. Here we go again. There's something wrong somewhere.
Well, where did you get that statement from? Who was that from?
Danny Jones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a reliable. Danny Don's a reliable source. When he says something, you listen.
Yeah, and he got it written in big letters. There's something wrong somewhere, and he's been saying it all year. Mm-hmm. 8 3-and-outs. And 219 total yards against Clemson team that had given up an average of 413 yards per game. Now, come on, man. They just come out there fired up. Just come out there fired up.
Yeah, you're right. You definitely right on
scored.
Okay, yeah, I seen that. That ought to be. We'll have this show be over with by at least halftime, probably less than that.
Yeah.
For that one, but. Here's the thing with me. We get Miles to that we give Miles the big contract, which, by the way, speaking of contracts, good news for the Saints fans. It looks like we will get Sean Payton 5 years, $8 million. We'll get into that later.
Yes.
But we're stuck with Miles here. Miles isn't going anywhere. The school backs Miles up on what he does. Believe it or not, most of the fan base backs up Miles and what he does. But if you look at the old school fans, football fans who know the game, they just aren't convinced by this guy. That they're not convinced about.
You're right.
Clock management and just talking about Miles going into the NFL, where clock management is everything.
What? The NFL.
We just haven't been sold by this guy, and last night proves it. And Miles was known for being awesome in bowl games, being unbelievable in bowl games. Even
in Atlanta, look at his record.
His last 4 bowl games, he's lost 3 of them. He's only 1 for 3 in his last 4 bowl games. So take that into effect. He was known for being so good. That was his thing. He showed up to bowl games. In his last 4 bowl games, he's 1 out of 3. I mean, 1 for 3. 1 and 3. Yeah, no, 1 and 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 4, basically. So,
but
that's not that
again.
great.
All I know, we'll never know what went on here. But I can promise you, when they landed back in Baton Rouge or tomorrow or today, Miles is catching heat off of this one. Oh, yeah. Big heat off of this one. This was not supposed to happen.
No, and that's just it. Even though it wasn't a big bowl game, I understand it was a disgrace, this and that. It's still a bowl game. You still got to win this thing, man. This is paper. Back, not to get everybody confused, it's like in the sport of wrestling or boxing. Might not be a big pay-per-view, but it's still a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? It's almost like that type of atmosphere. It's the pay-per-view of football. You got to show up. You accepted this bowl game, Miles, and LSU.
Right.
Y'all didn't have to accept it. Y'all accepted it. I was very disappointing in not only the coaching but the players, as it just seemed like they didn't want to be there, and that's not right. To me, that's unprofessional, and to me, I'm happy for Clemson. They wanted to be there. They showed up. Good. I'm happy they enjoyed it, because good and well LSU wins this game. They don't nearly enjoy it as much as Clemson did. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They don't nearly have that. I mean, Clemson was acting as if they were celebrating a national championship last night.
I guess so.
It was a big win for them, and I wish them the best success for next year. I definitely do.
Yep.
But what else?
So in other words, the whole season is done. You know what I mean? Them losing that, all that they work for is done. In my book.
Exactly. Which we still would have took it. We still would have took it with a grain of salt. You know, them winning this. You know, would have been happy. But it wouldn't have been, hey, LSU had a good year. But we'd have been like, okay, close the year out on a good year, and it helps with recruiting to win these bowl games. This is what you said it.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
You said it last night that, you know, did that game possibly hurt LSU for the future and recruiting and things like that? And you made a point. You made a great point when you said that. So,
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And Ettenberger, we are very excited by how you improved late in the year, but I still think you have a long off season. I still think there's still room for improvement.
A lot of room.
There's still room for improvement. He will go to some camps. We know that. We'll get to see him. If I've gone the last 2 years. I don't know if I'm going this year. You can see him in the end of March, early April in the LSU spring game. You can see where, but he looked good. He looked awesome in those last 2 games that he played in for the spring, and that doesn't necessarily mean so much because you're not really playing in that big game situation.
Right.
So, but yeah, long off season for LSU and Mettenberger, and honestly, right now you look at the team. They're going to come in the next year as a national championship contender. You know what I mean? Like every year, they will come in the next year as a contender. I'm not saying they're going to do it. They'll be a contender, right, Dad? I mean,
yeah.
They'll be a contender.
You know,
so everybody be happy and. But yeah,
there's a lot of work to do. That's all I can say.
Definitely a lot of work to do, and like I said, it's gonna be a long off season, no doubt about it.
And I think that Miles needs to quit being everybody's friend too.
Yeah, you got a good point.
It's good to be friends, but goddamn, when you get on the field, come on, man. He got to turn something around here. You know, he got to get respect, and he ain't getting it. To me, I don't see it. You know, he needs to get respect to do something.
It's like Miles is the type of guy I don't think anybody fears Les Miles. I don't think anybody's saying, wow, we better do this. We don't want to get chewed out by Coach Miles. I just don't see that. But I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not behind closed doors. I don't know. We got some inside info, your dad, from a guy, we're not going to name his name, a couple of weekends ago that did tell us some things about Miles. And, but, that's a whole other story. But we got a long off season.
Well, I bet you he's discouraged right now. Because, boy, the way he talked, no problem. This was a game that we will go over there and take care of business and regroup. Well, I bet he's discouraged.
I'm sure all the boosters are, because I'm pretty sure he's a booster. I'm sure or he was, we're not going to get into that effect.
Yeah.
All of the money was discouraged. And, it's just, one of them things and move on. So basically, congratulations to UL Lafayette, as you are the only team in the state to win a bowl game this year. So, hey, UL Lafayette, congratulations to them.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. Now, on this bowl game, I'm going to talk about it. I ain't going to talk long. We had the Independence Bowl right here in Shreveport. We had a team that was so excited to be over there, UL Monroe, first time ever. I don't know what happened there, but to me, they were just so outclassed to play Ohio. You know what I mean? It was just, you could look at it and see. It just wasn't a good matchup to me.
Oh, no. Ohio was way overmatched.
No. This was way, way out of, they didn't match this game good at all. Not at all. Not at all.
We got a blowout, don't we, between Sanford and Wisconsin, 14-0 already.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dad, what you were saying?
Yeah, no, I was just saying hats off to UL Monroe to make the Independence Bowl. But it was just, they were out.
Yeah, but that's another situation here. I'm gonna tell it like it is. That was pitiful. I didn't see that team look like they weren't prepared for that one. In the UL Monroe's case, that was their first bowl game. They looked as if they were just happy to be there. It was that type of deal. They were just happy to be there. They thought, hey, we have the home field. But what people didn't realize, Ohio was a great team at the beginning of the year. They beat Penn State in College Town, which is very tough to do in Penn State. Week 1, they played really, really well at the beginning, but they fell off at the end of the year. Well, we gave them that month break, and they showed up to play against UL Monroe. And, I mean, they had a long way to travel all the way from Ohio. I mean, that was a tough.
And I'll tell you what, they had a good fan base, Lane.
Yeah,
you seen the people that was there from Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. And they said, even the coaches, that Shreveport and all the they treated them, the coach thanked them. They said how good Shreveport and them treated them, that them 3-4 days. They said nicest people, you know what I mean? It was good, it was just a good deal. And good deal Shreveport did that, They treated them all the best, So that was a good deal.
Definitely agreed. Now, let's go ahead and get it out of the way now. I don't have much to say about this. And then we're going to get into some NFL talk about, all the games that happened this weekend. The Dallas game that me and you have a lot to talk about. The Dallas-Washington game. And we'll look into the playoffs this weekend. But right now, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. I don't have much on this one. Saints, Carolina, or Panthers, Carolina. It was just one of them things where Carolina was playing good the last few weeks, but the Saints were kind of getting on the road the last few weeks. But it was just a sloppy game. What was your take on that game?
Well, I wanted to win this game back because they beat us the first round. We're playing home. It's our last game. We just found out Sean Payton was coming back. I figured they were going to be knocking on every cylinder, man. I figured this was going to be, they were going to just come in there and just, again, I don't know. It was a whole game. Again, you don't want to go your last game and lose. You want to get that down,
Here was interesting about this. We broke 2 records in this game. One, Drew Brees breaks the record of having the most. He's had 3 5,000-yard seasons for the 3rd time. That breaks a record. But we end the season with having the worst ever defense as far as yardage in NFL history. That just goes to show you where we're at this year. And I understand talent-wise, we didn't have it with the Saints, but I'm sorry. Spagnuolo, you're still accountable for this. You know what I mean, Dad? He's still accountable for this has to be get fixed. I'm excited for the free agency, like you said. I'm glad we locked Sean Payton up. I could care less about the loss. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just, I was happy. I know a lot of people boo. I want to say this. If you were in that dome and you booed Cam Newton, I understand Cam might aggravate you. He might be cocky, this and that. It's not right. The guy could have blown his knee out. A lot of people thought that guy wouldn't play. I was happy to see him get back. I understand we don't like it, whatever this. I was happy to see the guy get back up. I was. I mean, as a football fan, it didn't look good for Cam. Yeah, it really did.
It didn't look good for the media. The media hurt us on this one. You know what I mean? You don't do that. That's like us going to, anywhere, Atlanta or whatever, and Drew Brees. You know what I mean? You don't do that. That's one thing about me and Lane, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all something. Anytime a player goes down, and Lane will back me up on this, it don't matter when we're playing or whatever. We don't like to see that. We don't get excited off of that.
The guy could have been down for 2 years. I mean, it looked bad. That was a nasty knee injury. We didn't know what happened.
Right.
You don't boo
That's people that don't know what they're doing, Lane. That's people that just had a ticket to go to a game and don't know the game. I'm sorry.
And you're right, because let me tell you something I'm learning. I was always told. Boos will always be heard over cheers. Boos are so easy to hear. They're loud, this and that. So we don't actually know how many people boo, but it goes into that same deal. If you remember earlier in the year, Kansas City booing when their quarterback was down with a concussion because they wanted their backup to go in. That's just classless. I mean, it's just
it's not right, man.
No, it's not. And I'll put it to you this way. I will be glad to welcome Sean Payton back into the facility. Or I'm sure Saints people will be glad to welcome him back into the facility come, when it's time, whenever they let him back in. But put it to bed.
He's going to rattle some chains.
Yeah, he's been watching every week. You know that. He's been watching what's been going on. And there will be some things fixed, and there will be high expectations for next year. So,
yeah. Hey, Lane, real quick, not changing the subject, my boy. What was the final? I know I watched it, but I've been watching so much football. What was the final score on that South Carolina game? Do you remember? The Michigan and South Carolina game.
It ended up like 5 points. Why is that?
Okay. I don't know. Just I'm looking at the thing. The South Carolina 27, Michigan 24. It's just something about these picks somebody made.
Oh no, that was wrong.
Yeah.
There was more points than that. They ended up winning by 5.
Yeah, okay, because I thought maybe, and they had it LSU 38, Clemson 24.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah, Mississippi State lost a lane.
To Northwestern. Yeah.
What happened there? I didn't see too much of that one.
I didn't watch it. It was on ESPNU. I didn't watch that one.
Oh, see, I can't catch that, y'all.
But now, from what I heard, it was an early game, sloppy.
Okay.
I don't know, but I tell you what, I don't know what you think, but I say it's almost around break time. But last comments on LSU before we go to the break. What do we have to look forward to next year, going into next season for LSU?
They better just get there. They better work a lot on offense. Get just a lot of defense. Get back, and maybe I don't know. Maybe Miles could take a course. Maybe they might have a correspondence course on how to manage a game clock. Maybe he could find out, or maybe go to a few Saints games. Or go to high school games to find out how to see how to manage a game clock.
Maybe he can attend some of these playoff games. They got a playoff game in Houston Saturday. Go
to the Super Bowl. They'll probably give him a ticket.
Oh, he might already be there.
Yeah. We'll see. Come on. I've never seen that before in my life. In fact, you don't bother him. The whole time he's clapping. And his hat. And another thing, turn your hat right.
Yeah, that's the reason why they call him the hat, huh?
Yeah, but anyway, right. I'm just picking y'all. I'm just blowing hot air because I'm upset.
Okay, and Sean Payton gets his deal. So it's not official, but it's very much in the books.
Lane called me, y'all. He called me. Lane's gonna catch it first. Well, I was excited, when you called me, told me that. Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. He'll be the highest paid coach in the league, unless somebody else gets it. Don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick gets an extension that makes him the highest paid coach or something like that. But who cares? He's going to be making $8 million a year.
Yeah, well, I don't care about Bill Belichick. Well, he's a good coach. Oh, believe me, very good coach.
Speaking of Bill Belichick and the rest of the NFL, stick with us. We're going to take a look back at what happened in Week 17, as well as look forward to these 4 big playoff games we got this weekend and Wild Card weekend. We'll be right back, guys. Thanks for listening.
Smell the gumbo. You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio. Hosted
Hey, it's Lane from Cajun Sports Radio, and right now we have to talk about Best Bike ATV. This is something that you need to know about. Best Bike ATV is a full-service mechanic shop, locally owned and operated, specializing in the repairing of most ATVs, dirt bikes, and motorcycles. They sell a full line of aftermarket as well as factory parts and accessories. They have a factory certified mechanic on duty at all times. They are an authorized high lifter, gorilla, STI, and ITP dealer. They are located on Highway 1 in Echo, Louisiana, about 7 miles north of Marksville. Their operating hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit their website at www.bestbikeatv. Contact them at 318-597-9022. Once again, www.bestbikeatv.com. 318-597-9022. You're going to want to check them out. You will be very impressed. Tell them that Lane from Cajun Sports Radio sent you. Thank you.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I mean, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you gonna do?
Smell the gumbo? You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Cajun Sports Radio, and that was a scene from the movie Any Given Sunday. We thought we'd play for y'all. And it was an interesting Sunday, this past Sunday. Okay, hold on. I got a text from work, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they want me to go in and... Hey, can you talk for a little while? All right, let's take a commercial break. I really need to... This is serious here.
Okay.
Oh, this is good news. They want me to come in at 4:30 instead of 11. Let me call them back.
Oh,
okay.
Hey,
can you ramble about... Talk about the coaches that got fired, Dad. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Well, let me... Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do what you got to do. I'll let you talk about the ones that got fired. You know more, but I know who got fired. But I'll just run a little bit of the games, the pro games, the NFL. My favorite subject was the Saints. With Sean Payton coming back. That's a big plus. I don't know when I don't know what deadline. I don't know how that's going to work when he can go back and talk to the players. I heard maybe. I know like when the Super Bowl gets. You know, sometimes he can't wait to go back and talk about all the players, the coaches, and all of that.
So you
but y'all don't understand how big that is. Okay. Sean Payton's back with us. You know, he almost went to Dallas. Dallas is not going to make the playoffs. They lost against Washington. RG3, job well done. We'll talk about that after a while.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I just wanted to say more about Sean Payton. How big it does make a difference when you do lose your head coach. Before the season started, Lane said 8-8. You know, I thought it would be a little bit better than that. You got to have somebody there that's going to keep it together. That's what Sean Payton would do. He kept the team together. I'm just, I don't know how big this is, because if this wouldn't happen, then this would have been a disaster. You know, this would have took, I'm talking about from, you know, rebuilding here, rebuilding there. Drew Brees had a lot to do with it. I think he had a lot to do with it because Sean and Drew Brees, they clicked. When the season started, I said, oh man, Sean Payton, I know he'll be gone. But Brees can run the show. No, Brees cannot run the show. You know, Brees is not a coach. Brees knows the plays, but he cannot run the show.
Hey, Dave, keep on for about another 2 minutes. I gotta make one more phone call. You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome.
But the deal there, I don't know if y'all remember the Tampa Bay game when they hit Brees, when they hit Sean Payton. Remember y'all when he hurt his leg or whatever, he hurt his knee. And he was on crutches. But, he was sidelined and this and that. Then he ended up, he went in the booth. So he was talking back and forth with you know, Vietnam, the coaches. But it was still not the same. I don't know if y'all remember when he got back on the sidelines how much it made a difference. So, you know, it's just like anything else. It goes back to coaching. You got to have respect. And I think that's our problem with LSU. Something got to change. And I'm not saying Miles is a bad coach and all that. No, I'm not going there. Look, Nick Saban. They respect him.
You'd be happy to hear that.
He's not as nice as Miles and all this. If you don't have respect from your players, you're gonna fall to pieces. And I'm discouraged with poor Andy Reid with Philadelphia. They let him go, but he left with good terms. They left with good terms. Where he's going to go, Lane probably knows. Someone said something about Arizona.
All right, I'm back, guys.
You know, so go ahead, Lane. Take over.
Good, awesome job by Yodi. Yodi and his radio skills. That phone call put me in a good mood. But I don't have to be at work till 4:30 tomorrow. But the deal, we had 7 coaches fired. And we had some general managers fired, including the Mike Tannenbaum, the Jets GM, Pop. Rex Ryan keeps his job, as we've seen, and
he's lucky. That's all I can say. He got lucky on that one.
But we see some general manager problems with Tannenbaum, and it came down to the whole Tebow fiasco and things like that. So
they just got a mess over there.
Hey, did they pull that touchdown off the board for Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, what's the deal about that? I wonder why you was on the phone. What was that about? They pulled it off. It was 6-0. I know some call, but what was the call that I was talking?
I was on the phone, but bottom line, it looks like Andy Reid's going to end up in Arizona, and things ended up good. And you can watch the video on the internet. It was on ESPN. They had a meeting. They gave Andy Reid a ball, Philly. Philadelphia loved this Andy Reid, and Andy Reid loved Philadelphia. It was time for a change.
Yeah.
They were both because
new faces and stuff.
Yeah, but we had new head coaches. The biggest firing was Lovie Smith, the Bears coach, I think.
I was shocked on that one, Lane.
I mean,
that one shocked me. Yep.
So
that one shocked.
Oh, definitely. And we seen Arizona, Kent Whisenhunt. That was kind of a shock, but that team was garbage this year. Arizona, they didn't have a quarterback. Yeah, you're right. But,
I wasn't shocked on that one.
But we had some games go on as well, and we're going to work the coaching stuff with the games. Now, the most interesting, Dad, I told you this on the show last week, and you didn't believe me it was going to happen. Atlanta had everything clinched going into this Sunday. Everything. They had nothing to play for. Nothing. They play their starters the whole way, still lose 17-22 to Tampa Bay, but they lose John Abraham and Robinson to losses. And this is what we talked about on the show last week. What's the deal with this here?
I don't know. I told you they weren't going to do it, and you told me they were going to do it, and I'm like, no, they won't do it, and guess what? You were right again. Why did they do that? Can you imagine? What were they thinking?
The only thing I can figure, he was trying to momentum, Dad. He didn't want to kill the momentum, but let me tell you something. That couldn't have happened any worse. Not only did he play his starters the whole
they got
way,
hurt.
Not only that did they have the injuries, but they lost. They lost to Tampa Bay. I don't know, but
I don't understand that.
They were just going through the motions, I heard. They weren't really trying that hard. But if that's the case, pull them out of the damn game. If they're just going through the motions, just pull them out of the game.
Yeah, let your backups play, man. Give them some time. Get ready,
I didn't understand that at all.
I don't know. Whenever you told me that the other day on the show, I'm like, yeah, Lane, okay. Boy, that backfired on me. I couldn't believe that.
And I agreed with you because I thought for sure that maybe it wasn't going to happen either.
I don't know.
Hey, now Atlanta, you get that week off and you got some injuries to explain too. All right.
Okay.
But speaking of head coaches being fired, here's one of them, Chan Gailey from Buffalo. But they get a win, 28-9 over the Jets. Over winning that one, who cares? Sanchez had another bad game. Whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Ravens Bengals, another one of those games there was nothing to play for either side. 23-17 Bengals. Both teams had what they needed clinched. Nothing really to talk about here. Now this one had a lot on the line for the Bears. Bears 26, Lions 24. Bears finished 10-6, Dad. But what they needed was Minnesota to lose later for them to get in. So they were watching. Well, we know what happened then. Bears don't make the playoffs, and guess what? Bears coach Lovie Smith gets fired, Paul.
Yep. That's again, but I just said it. That's the one that, out of the whole firing, that one threw me off. Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I was like, whoa. But I don't know. I don't know. Again, we don't know what goes on.
Titans, Jags. Which, from what I heard, though, back on that Chicago thing, it was more about Lovie Smith could not find a coordinator. They've gone through like 8 offensive coordinators in 10 years, something like that. They have a new offensive coordinator every year, and they were disappointed that he could not find an offensive coordinator that would work out. Bottom line, if they don't get Jay Cutler, an offensive lineman, to help block for him, it's gonna be another disappointment. And I feel bad for Jay Cutler because he has a new offensive coordinator every year.
You can't. Boy, he takes some licks.
Slam. Yeah, he does. And now this next game didn't really mean nothing except for draft pick status. Titans 38, Jags 20. Jaguars will have the number 2 pick in the draft. Now this was to me the most. This team here has just disappointed me. And you know where I'm going with this one. Texans 16, Colts 28. Chuck Pagano's it was his first game back from the leukemia treatment. And the Texans, and you said this yesterday, they have not been the same since that New England Monday night loss.
I don't know what happened to them, man. They fell to pieces. What happened there, man?
They're having problems consistently moving the ball. Something that they were doing well at. They are not consistently moving the ball down the field, and it's a problem. And they continue to have problems with the Colts. They've never won in Indianapolis. They think, wow, Peyton Manning's gone. We're going to start to dominate this division. Yeah. They still have problems with the Colts. And here's the thing now. They lost everything. If they would have won that game, they would have been the number 1 seed. Not only did they lose.
That's a bad loss what they did that, bro.
Not only did they lose the number 1 seed, they lost the bye and everything. They fall all the way to the 3 seed. So bad loss for them.
Like, do you think they peaked too early?
Yeah.
You know, some teams peak too early. You know, and you can look at it and see. That has to happen somewhere.
But you
because
know what?
that team just fell off. They just completely fell off.
You know what's interesting? Everybody said this about the Saints in 2009. You remember this. And I always bring this back up. We lost like 3 out of our last 4 games to end that season. And everybody said, oh, the Saints are done. They lost. It started with that Dallas loss in 2009. Our first loss of the year. Everybody, they ain't got no momentum. They're not going to go nowhere. Everybody on ESPN said that. And look what we did. So we'll see. Maybe that woke them up. We'll see. To the Texans.
Maybe so.
Carolina 44, New Orleans 38. We know about that. Both teams will not be playing. Saints finished 7-9. Carolina finished 7-9. Bad seasons for both teams. Giants 42, Eagles 7. Michael Vick's last game in Philly, most probably, and Andy Reid's last game for sure in Philadelphia. And Giants needed a lot of help to get in. They don't get it. They will finish 9-7 and not make the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl last year.
It's hard, Lane, to win the Super Bowl and come back the next year. I don't know why. Go back and look at this.
Well, you're the bullseye. That's why.
Everybody's. Here you go. You win the Super Bowl the next year. It's like, well, look at us. Well, at least we made the playoffs. Mm-hmm.
Well, the last team to win back-to-back was New England. They did it in 03-04. They won back-to-back.
That's right.
It's tough to do.
Good call.
Here's another disappointing season. Pittsburgh Steelers. They ended with a win, 24-10 over the Browns. But in my opinion, a lot of their problems is at the offensive coordinator spot with the new Todd Haley guy. Hopefully things will work out better for them next year. We'll see. Steelers 8-8. Had some injuries with Ben Roethlisberger. Their season's done.
He blamed himself.
Yeah,
he did tonight. He blamed his whole self with the whole season.
He's a very good player. Man, that team, and it's not. That team had a lot of injuries this year, Dad. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
It just wasn't their year. It's hard to win in the NFL, guys. It's very hard to win in this league. That's why I'm not that discouraged with the Saints, man. What the Saints had against them this year, I didn't expect them to make the playoffs. It's tough, man, to win in this league. It really is. Everything has to go right. Yeah, it's tough to win in this league, man. It's not just, oh, hey, let's go win a game. It didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
All right. Chiefs, Broncos. Both teams actually gained something with a number 1 on it. Broncos get the number 1 pick, winning the number 1 seed in the AFC, winning 38-3 over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs clinched the number 1 draft pick in next year's NFL draft. Colts actually helped out Peyton by taking out Houston earlier in the day. Dad, this team's hot.
Oh,
this Bronco team, they're hot.
Oh, yeah. Lane, that's something, huh? That's unbelievable.
Yep.
To come off of all that and do that, it's just amazing. It's just amazing to me.
But like I said, don't discount. By the way, Wisconsin is 7-14. Stanford over Wisconsin. It's getting heated in the Rose Bowl. Don't discount how good this team already was before he got there.
Yeah, he told me that yesterday.
But something I look at, he even said at the beginning of the year, man, I'm not where I want to be at with this team. He was having problems getting the motions together with this team. If you remember right, they struggled at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It seems like once he got in and they started, he basically brought in his offense from Indianapolis to Denver. Man, when they started clicking, it was like that, man. They started clicking, and this is a good football team.
He just
very good. And they will have a bye as long as with the number 1 seed. Speaking of bye, Patriots by winning 28-0 over the Dolphins. They'll be our number 2 team, number 2 seed in the AFC, which moved Houston down to the 3. That was a 28-0 win over the Dolphins. Dolphins finished 7-9, and not a bad year for Mr. Reggie Bush, Saints fans. Chargers 24, Raiders 21. North Turner's last game as a Charger. He got fired as well yesterday.
Yep.
They finished 7-9. 49ers needed to win this game against the Cardinals to have.
Wait, I want to ask you something though first about that Chargers game real quick.
Okay.
Who you think they got their eye on there, Lane?
Well, I thought Andy Reid, because I thought he was going to be looking to get out of the NFC, but now that it looks like Andy Reid might be going to Arizona, I don't know.
Now,
possibly,
this is what I kind of heard through the grapevine, and y'all, I know it's not right because every time something happens like that, his name is out. Gruden, but you know he's not going there. They always throw his name out.
Who did you hear that from?
I heard it. I heard Gruden. That's what I heard.
I mean, I can see it.
It's not official. It's talk. It's not. This was not on the computer. I just heard Gruden.
I mean, it's possible.
The guy at work said if something happens with the Chargers coach, you know what I'm talking about. They said, they're already talking to Gruden. I don't believe that.
Well, it's going to take a lot to get Gruden out of that broadcast booth. He likes doing it.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
He's safe. Well, it might be less money, but he knows he ain't got to worry about getting fired in that booth.
Right.
He can make his money. Right. He can do a couple of commercials and endorsements and still make
right.
almost what he was making as a coach.
Sure.
And not have to worry about being fired. Like I said, it's more consistent. So it's going to take a lot to get him out of that broadcast booth. But we'll see. Yeah. Okay, 49ers needed to win this game to not only win the West, but they could also, with a Green Bay loss, get a bye. Well, they did. 27-13 over the Cardinals. They are number 2 seed in the NFC. As the 49ers rebound, and they had problems with Arizona in this game early. 49ers rebound nicely after that Seattle loss. So we'll see what happens with them in the playoffs.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Speaking of that Seattle team, they looked well against the Rams, but they kind of had some. I mean, they had problems with the Rams. They win 20-13, but it showed that the rookie could win when he's put in a bad spot. When he was thrown against the ropes. He looked good, and they will go in as our number 5 seed in the playoffs. Yeah. And the game of the day, not the night, the day, this game, Green Bay 34, Vikings 37. Minnesota needed to win this game to get in the playoffs. What a game. Adrian Peterson comes 9 yards shy of breaking the all-time rushing record. But he said he's happy. He gets to go in the playoffs. But bad news, Minnesota fans. You got to play the same game Saturday night, but in Lambeau, in Green Bay.
That's a whole different ball game right there, bud.
Yep. And you had problems beating them in Minnesota.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep.
So what that did by Minnesota beating Green Bay, it eliminated the Bears, so the Bears were scratched out.
Yep.
Now, oh man, this is the game of the day, prime time game. Romo, for the second year in a row, was in a do or die to end the season. You win the game, you win the division. Second year in a row. Well, Redskins 28, Cowboys 18, and Romo was a late pick in that game that seals it for the Redskins. Questionable throw that he shouldn't have thrown, and then it ended the Cowboys season.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. That's what, while you was on the phone, I said that real quick about, we were talking about Trump, all this, and I said about hats off to RG3. He did good his first year, but I don't see him going too far over there. I don't see it, but he did good. At least he's in the playoffs. We're not. But,
which is interesting.
I knew Dallas could pull that out.
Well, what's interesting going back to RG3, they play Seattle in the first round, so two rookie quarterbacks are going to go at it.
Yeah.
What do you do if you Jerry Jones? I mean, you kind of caught in a tough spot. Who are you going to go get, at quarterback? It doesn't look like they're going to fire the coach from what it looks like they're not. We'll see.
No, they're not.
No,
he's like you told me yesterday. How do you get rid of a quarterback that threw all them yards? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's more problems than the quarterback that they have there. Something's wrong somewhere. They got so much talent on that team. They just can't click. I don't understand that.
Romo, though, I've always been wanting to back him up. He has locked up, though, in the big spots, man. I mean, he's throwing.
Why does he do it every year?
And like I said to somebody during the week, come see the water cooler talk, as we call it at work. If Romo can't win the big game for you, what is the point of him even being there? You know what I mean?
I'm surprised he's still there. Yeah.
If he can't win big games, let me tell you why he's there. He's marketable. He's popular.
Yeah.
He's making Jerry Jones money still. So, we'll see. But that's a whole other talk. We have plenty of time to talk about the Cowboys. Let's get into these playoff matchups that we got coming up, Dad. Wild Card weekend, which is going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. I know we both look forward to it.
Some good games.
Yeah, it ought to be, like I said, it ought to be fun. Now, NBC starts us off Saturday. We start off with the Bengals and the Texans. 3:30 Central Time game, NBC. This is a rematch, Dad, of last year.
Yep.
This game happened. It was a rematch of last year's. And what happened? Do the Texans take care of business here? What you think happened?
Oh yeah. Look, this is all clean slate here. Let's start everybody clean slate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I actually think, I know when the playoffs hits, you never know. It's hit and miss. It's good games. But I think that they're going to pull that one out, right? Oh, yeah, I think so. What do you think?
I hope. I really do. I have high hopes for this team. But like I said yesterday, I said for this team to do something, they needed to get home field. Now, if they win, it looks like they'll end up in Denver. I mean, that's just... No. I'm sorry. They end up in New England.
In New England?
They got to go to New England. So...
Yeah.
I don't know no more with this team. We'll see. They're going to have to play the best ball ever. They're going to have to be lights out, and everything's going to have to go their way. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll say they'll win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals won. Right. Houston right now is favored by 4 in this game. To let y'all know. All right.
That might change, though.
Yeah. Next game, by the way. This game will take place after the first one. By the way, when it comes to playoffs, it's all about television. They will delay that game 2 hours if they have to. They will not start another game until the first one's over with. If you remember right, for the Saints last year, when they played San Francisco, that game ran over like an hour longer than it was supposed to be. On CBS, they didn't kick off their game till that one was over with. You know, they're going to
That's
wait
right.
until that one's over with before they kick the next one off. Because they know everybody's watching the other game. And
That's
no
right.
game, there's no more than one game at a time in the playoffs. You have the
That's
whole
right.
stage to yourself in the playoffs. It's all yours.
Yep.
So as soon as that first one's over with, then we'll start the second one. Vikings, Packers, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock kickoff, unless, like I said, something happens to where it has to be delayed. In Lambeau, Dad, can the Vikings do it again? And can they beat
No.
them 2 weeks in a row?
No.
I
No.
don't agree. I don't think so.
Good season. Now, I might be eating my words. Good season. Y'all, you know, obviously y'all had a good season and all, but this is a different animal here. In Lambeau, oh yeah. I don't see it. I don't see it. Green Bay is going to take care of this one.
Well, I think I agree. Okay, and if Minnesota wins this, they're for real, in my opinion. But I don't, like you said, I don't see it. Next one. Remember this. This is always an interesting matchup when these two play. The Colts were originally the Baltimore Colts. Then they moved to Indianapolis. Well, they get to go back to Baltimore. Indianapolis Colts versus Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Very interesting game here. Very interesting game. Baltimore's favored by 7. Who do you like in this one?
Andrew Luck had a good year. He did very good for his first year. You know what I mean? Hats off to him. You know, they clicked it all. But they ain't going to beat Baltimore.
And
Baltimore's going to take care of it. What a got a defense, yeah.
John Harbaugh. And by the way, Ray Lewis makes his return in this game. He's been out for weeks.
Sure
Actually, not to disagree with you, we automatically think how good the Ravens defense is. It's actually struggled this year. It's actually not to punt you.
In the playoffs, just watch what I'm saying. I don't know what
I
they
know.
do when they hit the playoffs. It's like light switch.
Well, I hope. This is a tough spot for a rookie quarterback on the road. I think Baltimore wins this
He's
one.
rookie lane. You know what I mean? On the road. We'll see. What do you think?
As I said, I like Baltimore. A rookie on the road like that. Oh, yeah, easily Baltimore. By the way, this is a 12 o'clock game on CBS. CBS 12 o'clock game. On Sunday. This is the Sunday games. All right, here's the deal. This is what's going to close out our weekend. This is on Fox. It's set to kick off at 3:30 unless the first one runs over. This is the game of the weekend. Seattle goes into Washington, Dad. Seattle favored by 3.
Lane, 2-3 days ago we talked about this one, and I said Seattle, no problem. I changed my mind. I know with Pete Carroll, I know that he's going to have his team together. I think RG3 is going to pull it off. I really do.
And keep in mind, this is a game of rookie quarterbacks. Both teams.
Yep, I think
quarterbacks.
Washington's going to pull it off because they're playing home.
And that's just it. I'm glad you said that because Seattle, as good as they are 7-0 at home. They are only 3-5 on the road. That's it.
See?
And Washington 5-3 at home. So I tell you what, man, this is a toss-up. But I will agree with you. I'm gonna say RG3 in the Skins, but I won't be surprised if Seattle wins this game either. So
no. This one here, this is called a hit and miss on this one. But if I had to, I think Washington's going to pull it out. I do.
All right. Well, that about wraps things up with the playoff talk. Before we put this thing to bed and watch the Rose Bowl, anything LSU basketball-wise? You always do Yode's basketball corner. Anything for us?
No, not too much. They played, 2-3 nights ago against Houston Baptist. They had their home game, and we pulled that off. I'm trying to think. We beat them by, I think it was like 15. I don't know, but Houston, I don't even know who they are, Houston Baptist. Because we're fixing to get into SEC play, y'all. Mm-hmm. We're fixing to get into SEC play. That's going to be very interesting. Like, trying to think of who said this the other day. I know they're a young team, but they're fun to watch. The LSU basketball team is fun to watch. That's why me and Lane, again, we're going to pick a game, and we're going to have, we are going to go see them this year. But real quick, I need to just say, I'm trying to look real quick. Oh, the girls played. Remember I told you yesterday? Of all times, the girls played, y'all, yesterday. They beat them 87-61 against New Orleans. That was funny for them to be playing with LSU playing a bowl game, huh? That's the way
thing is, because they had that schedule before LSU was going to be in that bowl game.
Right. But the girls won. They beat New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's Tulane, huh?
No, UNO. No, that's UNO. New Orleans is UNO. Tulane's considered Tulane. When they say New Orleans, it's considered UNO, University of New Orleans.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay. I didn't know, but they did win.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
I'm trying to think if anything else. Oh, they have a girl that plays LSU, y'all. I don't know if y'all been watching. They call her the Tank. Did you see her?
No,
they call her Tank, right?
Really?
Big girl. Yeah, they call her Tank. Yeah, she's a big girl, boy. She's good. She's a center. She's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll have to keep, and like we said earlier,
Tank.
We're getting into our football is closing out here, which means we're gonna have more time now. We always we always start the show off with Saints or LSU talk. That's gonna change starting next week with no more Saints or LSU games. We're gonna have playoff talk, and now we're gonna start working in some basketball talk into the show. Starting next week, next Monday night, we're gonna try to work in a little basketball talk. As well as we're going to look and see how much more we can find out about Sean Payton's contract and start looking at free agency, Dad, in the NFL. Start looking at the draft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shoot, we got a lot to talk about. Oh, real quick, y'all. Shoot, I just had it, the next game, because I'm looking real quick. The next game, the men's basketball plays, I never heard of them. Bethlehem? Cookman? See, some of these, who is these people they're playing?
It's like Division 2, 3, 4, something like that.
Then, hold on now, the SEC girls start versus Ole Miss. Well, I'd like to go see that one, but it's on a Thursday, January the 3rd at 7 versus Ole Miss. That's SEC now, like, that's when you start, and the boys play Saturday, January 5th. But Menu's going to go to an SEC game. We ain't going to go to something like this.
Right, and we'll definitely keep everybody posted. Maybe we can have a Cajun Sports Radio reunion. So, we thank everybody once again. We had a great show. I do apologize for having to take that phone call in the middle of the show, but Yodi backed me up on that one. Good show, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all New Year's.
And Happy New Year to everybody, again.
Definitely. Like I said, just because the Saints and LSU is over with, keep it locked in here, man. We're going to keep y'all. We're still going to talk football. We're going to work in basketball. We'll talk everything here on Cajun Sports Radio, whatever you want. And just remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can contact us at lane0427@gmail.com. Or more preferably, go to CajunSportsRadio.com. Go to contact us where you can get a hold to me or Yodi through email.
Oh, real quick, y'all. I'm reading something real quick on Miles here. He said something like, at the end of the game, we had a miscommunication on a few calls. But me and you'll talk about that later. I don't know what he means by that. We had a miscommunication on a couple of calls. Wow.
I'm going to write that down, though. Honestly, no, I'm going to write that down. Mm-hmm. That'll be a topic for next week's show, so I don't forget. That'll be something that maybe we can talk about next week. Guys, thanks for listening. Let's go watch the Rose Bowl.
Thank y'all.
Have a great New Year's.
Smell the gumbo? You're listening to Cajun Sports Radio.